Woo! What's going on, guys? Orms Forum coming at you guys today with another video. In today's video, we're talking about Detroit Lions training camp. It's day 6, and it was another pretty good day by the defense. Guys like Eric Schlitt, Jeff Risen, John Macaron, Jeremy Reisman, Tim Twentyman, Mike O'Hara, Dave Burkett. Those guys are throwing out that info. They are at practice, and they're putting out on the internet. Go to Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can find those guys, and they're putting out that info. If you want to go see it, come to my channel, and I can give it to you straight from their mouths to the pen, to the paper, and then I can do the rest for you, and I give my overview too on what's going on. So thanks to those guys for putting that out, and me being able to give it out to you guys. Now, there's fans in attendance too as well. Season ticket holders, I believe. I don't know if it was just season ticket holders, but it was like 2,500 people in the out at Allen Park. So that's pretty impressive out there. Off and on with the weather. It was rainy. It was rainy a bit, but mostly sunshine though. I know this too because my little girl had her little birthday party, a little birthday pool party. Thanks to the Kavanaughs there, they hosted that. We were over there, and they let us borrow their pool. It was awesome. We had a good time. About 3 hours of swimming, eating pizza, cupcakes, cake, all that good stuff. So my little girl's birthday will be coming up soon. Yeah, she turned 11. Can't believe it, man. She's like 20 years old. It's unreal. But yeah, mostly sunshine though. And there's a second day of pads, so getting used to those pads again, man. Getting the rust off. So we like seeing that too and hearing about it. Now, attendance and the injuries going on with Detroit Lions. Quarterback Hendon Hooker still in the NFI. Wide receiver Jameson Williams got that hamstring. He's day to day. Wide receiver Marvin Jones and that NFI got that back injury, no rush. And then cornerback Emmanuel Mosley still on the pup, had that procedure on his knee, and he's supposed to be reporting on Monday. So we'll see what happens there. And then Hooker and Jones were moving well apparently before and after practice, so they're getting closer. It seems like doing a lot of sideline work. Not sure what's going on with Hooker, but it looks like he's moving well at least. But I don't really see him playing at all this year. So practice will be a whole different story, and we'll see what comes up with that quarterback position, with that backup position, because there's Nate Sudfeld's there, Teddy Bridgewater. There's all kinds of rumors about him possibly signing here. Adrian Martinez, he's not really doing too much, but there's some guys there that they could possibly grab, and Bridgewater is one of them. CJ Gardner Johnson back. Incredible news for Detroit Lions. Limited, but back. Moving pretty well. I think he was just doing no team drills, but just limited work right there. He talked to the media, and he's full of attitude. Now, I personally love it, but it will get stale if this team does not win games. That's all I can really say. I'm not throwing no kind of shade at Gardner Johnson, because I love the move by Brad Holmes. I love the player that Gardner Johnson is. But he is a mouthpiece. He's brash. He doesn't really care what he says. He's cocky. He has an attitude. It's something that this Lions team hasn't had in a while. I can't remember the last guy that really had this type of attitude, really. Sue had a bit of an attitude, but he was more professional. When he talked anyways on the field, he was a menace. But, this guy doesn't care what he says. He gave some attitude, lots of attitude to the media, because they were talking about him missing practice and stuff like that. And he's like, and I can quote exactly what he said. He goes, "I don't think you understand what type of guy you got here. You got here. I ain't miss nothing. I ain't miss a practice. I ain't miss a rep. I'm still out there." That's basically what he said out there, and he was given humongous attitude to whoever asked the question. Now, I personally love it, but all I'm going to say is this team needs to win though, because then it'll be even more fun. He can play with these media guys, but I can see it getting real stale and real old if they're not winning football games. Personally though, like I said, I love it, and I'm not throwing no shade at Gardner Johnson, but he's just an attitude, man. He does not care, man. He's a pest. He doesn't care what he says, really. And you got to really respect the guy for that. We really do, because he backs up his play. He is a really good football player. He's one of the best nickel cornerback safeties in the NFL. He's top 10 for sure. He's just a really good ball player. And him being back, man, it was a scare, and it's fun that he's back. And hopefully that curse gets lifted somehow. And I think that's just the start of it right there. And then Penei Sewell was out as well, too. He was in street clothes. No real explanation what was going on. They'll have to talk to Dan Campbell about it. Maybe it was a vet rest, so who knows? He is a franchise right tackle, so maybe he felt a little uncomfortable after Friday's practice. He didn't say nothing. He talked to the media, and that's usually a good sign. So we'll see what happens there. But he was in street clothes. And then Big V out again. Halapula Vaitai out again. He came back Friday. He came back yesterday, was limited, and out again on Saturday. So I don't know if that's more vet rest on what they're doing here. But Graham Glasgow, I'm not saying he's running away with this right guard spot, but it's his to lose. That's my personal feeling now on this. It's his to lose. I know it's early and it's only the end of July, but Glasgow is just getting all the first team reps, and he's going to end up winning. So I personally think he's going to win the job, Glasgow, and that kind of worries me too, because Glasgow hasn't been very good, really. He wasn't really good in Denver, especially last year. He had injuries. He just wasn't good. A lot of penalties at the right guard spot. I think he might have even led the league at his position in penalties. Don't quote me on it, but I know he was way up there. So if someone wants to go look that up, I remember reading something about him having a lot of penalties. He just wasn't very good last year for the Broncos. And the Broncos were a bad team, but you can't just blame it on Glasgow. But he did not have a very good year. So, and then wide receiver Antoine Green, he's out too, heat exhaustion. They kept him out. He had to leave practice yesterday on Friday's practice, so they kept him out, which is a good thing. Just got to keep an eye on him and keep that temperature down, big fella. And then in practice injuries, linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maybin, looks like it was a lower body injury, got hurt. And then edge rusher, outside linebacker Sam James Houston had an injury. He seemed to slipped on a one-on-one drill. I forget who was going up. I think it was Herman Ifedi, and he lost the drill, but he slipped, and it looks like he didn't really come back. He onto the field. He was there, but didn't have his helmet on. So it's good that he was still in the field, not in the training room, attending to him. So we'll see a little, maybe he tweaked a little something, maybe a groin. Hopefully it wasn't a groin. Maybe it was just like a calf, or maybe a quad or a hammy. But anything lower injury can be pretty serious too if they don't attend to it, but not serious enough where he needed to be in the locker room at the time. So that's a good sign. But yes, he did get hurt, James Houston. Now the O-line, they dominated most of the day on the one-on-one drills. Matt Nelson went in at right tackle though. Sewell out, so Matt Nelson got the look, and Hutch wins easy. He beats him easy like a knife through butter. Like a hot knife through butter, and it's just not fair to guys like Matt Nelson. So Matt Nelson is basically your kind of like one of your first O linemen off the sidelines though, and I have said about this that I am a little bit nervous about the depth on this team with the O line. Like if we're going to lose guys like Big V, Sewell, those type of guys, you're going to see the Matt Nelsons, the Herman Ifedis, and the guys like Graham Glasgow coming in, and that makes me worried a little bit. So if you get like a couple guys like that hurt, makes me nervous. But you can say that about a lot of teams. But I'm not doing a YouTube channel for a lot of teams, just one. And then the O-line wins the next 30 out of 34 reps though, so they dominated this one-on-one drill. Decker hasn't really lost a rep yet in drills. He's out there playing well, and he's been steady through camp. Jonah Jackson looking sharp. He ate up Christian Covington, who's not having a very good camp early. Ragnow handled Martin. Martin did get some revenge on him, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But Ragnow had a really nice rep against Martin. Obinna Eze, the reserves, looking strong. He beat Pascal and Julian Aguara. Ifedi beats Houston. That's where Houston kind of slipped and got hurt on the wet grass. And then undrafted free agent Brad Cecil, who's been playing pretty good actually in camp, 1 reps at center, beating Chris Smith and Benito Jones, then going to guard and beating Romeo Aguara. So Brad Cecil, with that versatility, can play center and guard. And then Martin, the wins with the D-line were Martin did win over Stenberg. Pascal won over Connor Galvin on UDFA, and then Kaminsky over Graham Glasgow, and then McNeil over Awosika. So there were some wins with the D-line, but they got manhandled on this drill today, on a Saturday. And then in the defense, man, they're setting a tone in drills too as well. Martin punches and sheds Ragnow. This is where he beat Ragnow. Ragnow was trying to come down on a block. Martin got his hands on him before Ragnow did, punched him in the chest, took him back a little bit, shed him, made the play. It was a tackle for loss, and he really laid a lick on David Montgomery for a 4-yard loss. So that's what we want to see from guys like Broderick Martin. He was getting number one looks too as well, which is a good sign as well, because they're trying to see what they got in this kid. Because there's lots of guys, lots of people, fans, experts, bashing this pick. And it was a confusing pick from a fan standpoint, from myself too. I'm a fan, man, just doing a YouTube channel. So I'm not an expert. I am no scout. I was shaking my head, scratching my head, going, wow, they picked up a guy that probably nobody would have drafted. But like I said, and been saying, Brad Holmes don't care about your draft grades. Brad Holmes don't care where you have guys listed. Brad Holmes doesn't care about what guys like, the hairdo boy, just like the mock experts, the draft experts, the Bucky Brooks, those type of guys. They don't really care where you have guys in your rankings. They're going to go after guys that they love. So, and you like to hear about things like this. He's had a pretty good camp so far. It hasn't been perfect. He's gotten beat on some reps, obviously, but he's knocked down some balls. He's taken on double teams, because after he kind of ragdolled Ragnow, there were double teams on him, and that's what we want. We want double teams on him to free up other D linemen, aka all the Hutchinsons, the Pascals, the linebackers, the Campbells, the Anzalonis, the Rodrigos. We want that type of guy to eat up those guys, be a space eater, so he can free up other players to make plays. And then if he makes plays in the process too as well, that's even better. But that's what his job is, and I love that, man. So it's early, but he's getting number one reps, and that's impressive. Now tight end, they put a tight end up versus Aiden Hutchinson. Don't ask why, but that's what it was drawn up as. Hutch held him up, set the edge, shed him, dipped back in to make the run stop for a no gain. Easy work for number 97. Just easy work. Hutch is just looking like a man possessed out there. He's not losing any reps. He's just playing really good football. And he's going to be a menace. He is a superstar in the making, man. I can't believe I take Kayvon Thibodeau over him, man. That's what I say. I'm just, I'm a YouTuber, man. I love this game. I love my Detroit Lions. I don't get everything right. Who does? You know what I mean? I still think Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be a good football player, but I can't believe I had him over Hutch. Hey, man, some things you learn every day. You learn something new every day. Then the defense dominated early on 11 on 11s. There was a quick out to Mims. Jacobs was there for a no gain, which is really impressive. Barnes blitzing and blowing up Gibbs in the backfield. Tough work for Jahmyr Gibbs against a 240, 250-pound linebacker, coming in and knowing how to blitz, because that's one of the strong points of Derek Barnes' game. And then Sudfeld was sacked by Jack Campbell. I love that. I love that Aaron Glenn is sending him on blitzes too as well. Something that he did do at Iowa, and he didn't do it a lot, but he's just a really good linebacker, really good football player, that he can do all those things. Like I said before, Jack Campbell, man, he's doing a lot of different things in his defense. A lot on his plate early. He is going to win that linebacker spot next to Anzalone. I guarantee it. Then Pascal had a nice tackle for loss on running back Mohamed Ibrahim, blew him up too as well. So really good D-line defensive work right there. Then the front seven standing out as well too. Romeo and Julian, the two Akwara brothers, had a sack each. Benito Jones with a sack. Levi and Rizurike had a close sack, but it was worth mentioning. It looked like he got to the quarterback in time, but it was close, but it was worth mentioning. And then Charles Harris dropping into coverage more. He did draw some tough assignments on this Saturday. He drew Amon-Ra St. Brown. Not fair, by the way. St. Brown made him look silly, expected. Big yak for Amon Ra. And then Walker fell down trying to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown on the same play. So Amon-Ra is just making guys look silly out there. St. Brown, another guy that's going to have probably a career year. He is Goff's go-to guy. And then, Harris out there trying to cover Gibbs as well, and Sam Laporta. So didn't really know what happened there. They were just saying that he was out there trying to do it. So lots of assignments, lots of responsibilities on Charles Harris's plate. And then Barnes, too, had a nice tackle for loss, man. Then a no-gain stop at the line of scrimmage. Rodrigo, don't forget about Rodrigo. He had another tackle for loss. He's stacking up some days right now. He's putting up a fight. He's not going away, but right now it looks like he is that number 3 linebacker coming off right now. It's Anzalone, number 4, actually, in my opinion. Number 4, it's Anzalone, Campbell, Barnes, and then Rodrigo. So he's the number 4 right now, the number 4 middle linebacker coming off. But yeah, I think he's going to make plays. He's going to make plays in the special teams this year. So you got to respect that. So, but we did improve this linebacker room. Now the youth movement in the secondary is for real. There's no pass breakups for Brian Branch, but he did get a sack on a blitz. Something he did pretty well at Alabama, like we talked about before, playing that star linebacker position in the box. Brian Branch's game, I think, is better in the box as a in the box safety. You like that too. So not biting on a play action play, something. He's just a very smart player. Continuing to stack up reps on the first team D as well, so he's going to be a big part of this defense coming up. And then UDFA Stephon Gilmore's little brother. Kind of just learned that now. I always wondered if that was the case. I don't know if I talked about this before, but I guess he is. He forced 2 turnovers on a Saturday. He had a pick, and then Romeo with some pressure, and Sudfeld threw the ball inside when the play was going outside, but there was pressure on him, and a bad throw by Sudfeld, easy pick by Stephon Gilmore. And then the second turnover, Mims kind of beat him on a route. Mims caught the ball. Gilmore punched it out as it was coming into his hands. He got it, punched it out, recovered by Savion Smith. So, making plays out there. That's 2 days in a row for Stephon Gilmore, making plays out there. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he's making plays. So that, does he have that little bit of dog in him like his brother? We'll find out. And then Walker had a nice pass breakup at the line of scrimmage, and he had a nice long one too. I think it was the Brock Wright. There's video on Twitter with it. Wright kind of had him on an angle. Right, he was kind of open, and then what's his name? Tracy Walker came up, recovered well, knocked the ball away. So he had 2 PBUs that day. He almost had 2 picks as well too. So that's really good work for Tracy Walker coming back off that injury. Melifonwu looked good. He looked comfortable in the box. He did miss some tackles on Gibbs and Shane Zostra though when he was bounced out to the outside. Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn letting him know about it too, giving him an earful. This team will not put up with that stuff. I think Melifonwu is another guy. I think he's pretty much got that. I think he's not going to be cut or anything like that, but he needs to sharpen up a little bit more. But he's better in the box. He's a big secondary guy. So, and then Chase Lucas getting some time because of injuries. He stuffed Jamar Jefferson on an attempted hurdle. By Jamar Jefferson, obviously, and then Lucas getting looks due to injury. So, like we talked about, man, opportunity is there. Lucas is trying to become that all-purpose kind of secondary guy like Will Harris. He came out and said that, they got this infatuation with Will Harris, and it came out again that they just love him. Like Dan Campbell loves the guy. He makes him sleep better at night knowing that Will Harris is here. I don't get the infatuation, but like I said, I am not in the building. I am not a coach. I'm not a management guy. I'm not anything to the Detroit Lions. But they love him. They love him. The whole team loves him. They love Will Harris. It's his versatility that they love. And I don't understand it, and it's not my job to understand it, apparently. And then the offensive skill players during individual drills, Mims is out there replacing J-Mo in the rotation. He's not replacing him as the player, but he's out there getting his balls that he should be getting if he was in practice. So in the rotation, he's getting a lot of looks. So receiving passes from Jared Goff. So take that as a grain of salt. Where he is when he's getting opportunities too with MJ out, J-Mo out. So the opportunities are there. So he's got He's got to add days. He's got to stack some days where he's catching balls and dropping balls like he did yesterday. He dropped the ball yesterday. He fumbled one today. That's not good, but he's getting opportunities. Right now he's gonna because there's injuries. But he needs to sharpen up a little bit better. And then James Mitchell out there, the tight end that we drafted last year, he's splitting the reps with Wright as tight end 2. He was jumped up from tight end 4 to tight end 2. See, it doesn't matter. It could be it's day to day with this stuff. Yesterday I'm telling you James Mitchell's tight end 4, and then today he's doing tight end 2 work with Brock Wright. And then Laporta was getting all kinds of tight end 1 looks. It's a new little wrinkle, obviously with the Mitchell and the Wright as the tight end 2, and Laporta pretty much maintaining that tight end 1. So keep an eye on that. But I think Laporta is going to run away with that eventually. And then we'll see some mixtures going on with this tight end 2. And then Mims is working his way up the depth chart, like I said, with Greens and Jones always helping. I'm kind of jumping the gun here. Gibbs looking like a problem in space. He is a weapon. That's exactly what he is. He's not a running back. He's not a wide receiver. He's just a weapon. Weapon G. That's what I like to call him, man. So he's tough to cover. He dusted Rodriguez on a play down the left sideline. Rodrigo trying to catch up with him, trying to cover him is next to impossible. He had 3 or 4 steps on him. Sudfeld didn't even look his way. He was open on the left. Sudfeld was looking on the right. Don't know what happened if he completed a pass, but he completes that pass. It's a big-time gain, probably a touchdown. So, that's just not great pocket awareness maybe, or just not awareness of where Gibbs is going to be, but he was wide open down the field. So, Sudfeld needs to see that. It could have been a real big play and a really good spot for him right there. In the run game hasn't really fully clicked yet, but they are showing some flashes. David Montgomery had a few nice runs on Saturday, some chunk runs, nice pop to break it outside. I guess he did run over, was it Tracy Walker? Who reported that? I forget where that reported. Was it Easy? Was it Easy from Woodward Sports? I forget who reported that, but someone reported that he had a nice play where he put his head down and he ran over like 1 or 2 guys, which is something you want to hear and see too, because there's a lot of knock on Montgomery that he's not a physical enough back for his size, because he's 225 pounds, but he's more shifty. Like I said earlier, like I've said in other videos, he reminds me more of a DeAndre Swift, but bigger, and who can block. That's what he kind of reminds me of. But him putting his head down and running over guys, that's what I love to hear. That gets me fired up. And then Craig Reynolds was showing some patience out there, and he found some daylight. I'm impressed with that as well too. 2 biggest plays were Goff to Trinity Benson, stuff that you don't really hear too much. Guys getting opportunities with certain wide receivers out. So Benson had a nice 23-yard gain in a 1-minute drill. And then quarterback Angel Martinez to tight end Derek Deese Jr. for another 20-plus yard gain. So, some guys, some reserves getting in on the action. This passing game is not going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem, even though Goff, had one bad throw today. Maybe 1 or 2 bad throws, and we'll talk to that in a bit when I have more observations. Then the special teams work, Patterson and Romo out there, the 2 kickers, 5 kicks each, one from 33, 41, 44, 47, and 50. Patterson missed a 33-yarder. He missed one earlier too, a couple days ago or a day ago. Romo was perfect. And both kickers got more accurate, more stronger as they added to the kickers. Range. So the 41-yarder was good, the 44 was good, the 47 was even better, and the 50, I guess, from both the kickers were great. So there's a little bit of a kicking battle going on here. No real front runner. Romo has, I think, the stronger leg. It's got the more sound stronger. It looks more natural coming off his foot, apparently. It's got that boomstick. But we'll see what happens here. There's no real front runner yet, but there is a little mini kicking battle going on right now. And then long snappers, Scott Bailey and Jack McQuaid, rotating in and out. No clean leader as of right now, but McQuaid's got I believe he's got a couple Pro Bowls to him. I don't know if Daly's got any Pro Bowls, but I know McQuaid does. And you got some long snapper news. And then some more observations. Chris Spielman is out there carrying buckets, filling out divots. Just being one of the guys, man. He wears many hats. He's a management. He comes down to the field. He hangs out with the fellas, the players, the coaches. He wears many hats, as Brad Holmes would say, and Dan Campbell would say. And Dan Campbell just giving him praise, saying he doesn't get enough credit on what he does, and he deserves it. You know, he said he came down and started the presser with that. He goes, I wasn't told to do this, but I just need to do this. I need to say this about Chris. He doesn't get enough praise for the work he puts in. You know, he has many hats, and he's just really approachable, really good guy. Not only is he one of the greatest linebackers to play on the Detroit Lions team, but I think he was one of the better ones in the NFL. He was one of the toughest SOBs I've ever seen play. I had the pleasure of watching him play many games at the Dome, and I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I really do think he does. He just wasn't your flashy guy. He just wasn't that flash. You know, he was just your tough-nosed, throwback type of linebacker that would take on a Mack truck if he needed to. So, you know, I would love to see him in the Hall one day. Who knows if he's going to get in? He might not. But I love the praise they're giving him. And then Goff did have a pass deep. They haven't been throwing the ball deep a lot. And then Josh Reynolds got open. He was wide open on one play. Cam Sutton was on him. He got past Cam Sutton. He got past a couple of the safeties. And then the throw was just thrown short. Pass broken up by Walker and Joseph. Tracy Walker got over in time. He recovered and knocked the pass. He helped knock the pass away with Kirby Joseph. So, you know, like I said about Jared Goff, this is going to happen from time to time. You know, last year this happened. He was not good at the beginning of the year with his passes throwing deep. Then he improved on down the stretch. I'll give him all the credit in the world. He did improve down the stretch. But this is what you're going to get. He doesn't have the strongest arm at times. You know, he's accurate with those short and intermediate throws, and that's fine. But you're going to have to hit the deep pass every now and then, and that's what worries me about him at times. You know, there's other things I worry about with him as well too, but I'm not getting into it. You know, it's not a bash on Goff. It's just it's a legitimate. I'm not worried about it, but it's a little bit of a concern for me. Just at times when you really need that big play, sometimes it won't be there with Jared Goff's arm. Sometimes it's just not strong enough. So he's very inconsistent, I think. He did get better going by the end of the year last year, though, and that's impressive enough. So, you know, then Mims with a nice 23-yard gain and a nice pass by Goff. So 23-yarder on a 3rd and 6, stopping the clock and a timeout. They call it a timeout. So it's good to see Mims getting a ball like that with a nice throw from Jared Goff. And then St. Brown is working Sutton in drills. Every time I read about St. Brown, it always seems like Sutton's on him, and he should be, because Cameron Sutton is our CB1. He's our cornerback 1. Amon-Ra St. Brown is our wide receiver 1. He's our best wide receiver against our best corner. Sutton is getting worked out by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, it doesn't concern me. I think it's another one. I'm not pressing the panic button. Maybe that's a better terminology. Not pressing the panic button on Cameron Sutton, because I think he's a good ball player. You know, but Cameron Sutton has been a little bit up and down his whole career too. Had a fantastic year last year. That's why he got paid what he got paid. But you'll look at his previous years, they're very up and down. But he is, on paper, he's one of our best corners. He's our best corner on the team. But, you know, I think he needs a little bit of help every now and then as well. So, you know, he did blanket Josh Reynolds on a play, though. First time really covering him. So you're going to see Cameron Sutton on the ones last year. This year, he played him well last year. You're going to see him doing it this year, because it's going to be his job assignment. And I just hope, you know, he's up for the task. He got the big payday, and we'll see if he's up for the task. It's not something, like I said, not pressing the panic button, but it is something out there. And then Raymond shook Brian Branch. Dorsey did have 2 pass breakups on throws to Chase Cota and Maurice Alexander. And then that was it. That was really it, man. I went to every single guy I could go to. A lot of them, like I said, they repeat some of the things that go on. A lot of them are standing with each other. Some are in different areas. Some are, you know what I mean? But, you know, I try to get as much different info as I can. And this was what I came up with. So 2,500 fans at the day 6 of Lions training camp. Impressive. You know, like I said, I'm gonna try to get out there if I can. I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know when. It's gonna be tough for me, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. But that's day 6, guys. Day 6 wrapped up. Day 7, I think they pretty much got a day tomorrow, unless it's a day off. I don't think they do, and if they have something, I'll be reporting it. I'll try to do the Orm's Den tomorrow as well too. But that's it, guys. 30 minutes in, trying to get these videos pumped out. I really appreciate you guys coming in and listening to me talk about the Detroit Lions, baby. So thanks a lot, guys. One Pride, Go Lions. But hey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell on all my videos. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Really appreciate it. Go Lions, One Pride. Let's go, baby. Boom.